The Kraken, the great sea beast, is a popular creature that can often be seen in comics, games, television shows, and movies these days, and from these sources, we have a general understanding of the beast as a giant squid that attacks ships and is powerful enough to sink them if it wants to. The Kraken, as originally reported more than 300 years ago, was not described as a squid, and it is unlikely that any squid served as its prototype, nor was it ever accused of being aggressive. Moreover, the trail from the first reports of the Kraken in the scientific literature of the mid-1700s to the modern perception of the creature as a violent giant squid demonstrates how little importance facts hold compared to convenient assumptions. 3. The Kraken first came to attention in 1751 with the publication of Natural History of Norway by Erik Pontoppidan 1698–1764, Bishop of Bergen, who collected stories about the beast from fishermen who claimed to have encountered it. This creature, also known as the Kraken or the Kraken, has never been fully observed due to its immense size and primarily underwater existence. But the details that Pontoppidan collected led him to believe that other authors had reported similar creatures many times in the past. Although Pontoppidan was unable to determine the actual size and appearance of the Kraken, he still felt that the information he had collected was enough to encourage future researchers to learn more about the animal. On hot summer days, the Kraken often rose to the surface of the seas near Norway, but it never came to the surface during storms or bad weather. The beast was usually found near the coast, at a depth of at least 80 fathoms. If fishermen checked the depth and it was less than 30 meters, they assumed that a Kraken was under their boat. Kraken attracted fish, and large schools of fish, especially cod or pollock, always swam above the submerged creature. Therefore, if a Kraken was discovered, up to 20 boats would gather over it to catch a rich catch. If the depth showed that the Kraken was rising to the surface, the fishermen had to row away until they reached the normal depth for the area. Soon after, the creature's back rose to the surface, resembling several small islands surrounded by seaweed, with stranded fish splashing around until they reached the water again. Then, several horns emerged, as tall as the masts of medium-sized ships, with a thicker base than the top. Pontoppidan wrote that these were the creature's arms, which it used to move. The visible area of the creature's back was estimated to be 1.5 miles in circumference, but Pontoppidan stated that he chose to give the lowest estimate provided by the fishermen for greater accuracy. After a while, the Kraken slowly submerged into the water, creating waves and a whirlpool that sucked in anything near it. For several months, the Kraken ate, and then for several months, it excreted. This excretion colored and thickened the water, but it was very attractive to fish. Large schools of fish gathered above the Kraken to eat the waste. And then the Kraken ate them. Pontoppidan wrote that the Kraken could probably grab a boat and pull it underwater if it wanted to. However, nothing was actually known about its aggressiveness. All human deaths and injuries were accidental, and usually occurred because the fishermen did not react quickly enough to the presence of the Kraken. The bishop recounts that a few years ago, near Fredrikstad, a small boat carrying two fishermen got too close to a rising Kraken and could not escape in time. One of the creature's horns crushed the boat's bow, and the fishermen clung to floating debris until they reached the shore.